Right. Righty ho. Hello everyone. Well, one or two of you. This is the kit, and going to make a start on it, I think. Let's see what's here. Oh, like Blue Peter. Cut out your own bloody numbers. Anyway, I'll think about that once we've done the rest of the kit. Instructions. Did you see that? Installing the components in the Chinese world for solder. Install short components. First, install IC base. Then place the IC in the base. Power supply. 2 batteries. Press on. Goes automatically powers off after 30 seconds of idleness. Circuit schematic, which is handy to have. Picture of where the components go. There's not many, apart from all the buttons. There's more than 4 buttons. Anyway, so there you go. You can see what it can do. Like I said. Ooh. So you have a little read. Of course, I don't really intend to use this as a calculator. I have a calculator which I use. What is this one? It's tiny little, about 4 by 2. It's got a little photo cell that works, but it still needs a battery in there. I can't remember the size of it off the top of my head. But for most quick calculations, it's brilliant. It does everything I need. And this thing is going to be a bit bigger. Right, let's put the instructions to one side. I'll wedge it up there with me tobacco. Oh dear. Cough. Screws. Cool. Dear. Plastic kit. What else we got here? Might be the display. And more screws for plastic bits and standoffs, one assumes. Little rubber feet. Little covers for the buttons. Backs for the buttons. The battery holder. See, 2032 or whatever it is. 2025, I don't know. Some resistors. Edge connector. Transistor. Another transistor. 3 transistors. And a bag of buttons. With clicky buttons. Right. Right. So I'm so prepared today. I haven't switched my bloody soldering iron on. I've got the right tip in it today before we go too far. Yes, I think I have. I only think. I don't know. So we'll have to see. Right. Oh, I think it's come out of an offcut out of the plastic. Oh, the sizes. Put the mouse over there. Put that there. My fence blew down last week, So I ordered some fence panels and posts and things from Wix. What a wonderful company Wix are. Their delivery service is brilliant. It's just none of it comes at the same time. And then on the other occasion, some of the stuff they deliver isn't what you bloody ordered. But anyway, never mind, this isn't about Wix. This is about a calculator. So, is it marked on the board here? What's what? That says 10k. 10k. 104 capacitor. 10k resistor again. 1k next to it. And 2 diodes. 1, 2, 3. They're different. I've got different numbers on them. So the light's a bit bright there in the centre of the room. Let's switch on this this light. I don't know why I've got a cough this morning. See if that helps. Focus. I'll put it on manual focus. So there we are. I think you can see all that quite nicely. Not sure about these two things for the battery. Not sure I've got two of them, but we'll see. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4. 20 buttons. So now let's make a start. It's always best to make a start. I need a little dish. I use this as top of one of my wife's lotion things that she spends money on to make herself, well, to try and make herself look beautiful. But anyway, that's what I use, a little dish. And it's nice weighted. Oh, I know. There we go. Oh, I didn't have any weight the Wix this morning. That's it. That's those out. Oh, leave that there for a minute. Oh look. They've labelled these ones up for me. I don't have to worry. Well, I didn't label that one, but I assume it's the 10Ks. 1, 2, 3. 1K. Oh. That's 330. So are they trying to tell me that these are different? No, they're both the same. Both the same. So, again, I'll have to get my little measuring device out and put this over there. Well, you can't see over there, but it's a chair. I'll go with that. And the mouse has just rolled off the top there, bring up the back. Right, let's put this, the plastic bit I don't need for a while, and the screws. And I won't need these covers and the sticky feet. Clear those away. Get my component tester. Oh, this will be one of these. There you go, component tester. which is this one, which I found most useful. I did build one of these, so I put those on the battery, and it just, when you got the battery in, it sits quite nicely. They're just two bottle tops filled with hot glue, so make a little pad. It works okay, but I use this one now and not this one. Sometimes we'll see. Maybe one day I'll use it again. Oh, some stuff. Right. Actually, that one's marked. I tell a lie. You can't see it, but it says on there 1K. Maybe you can see it. Yes. So does this say 390 somewhere? No. Let's see if it is 330, not 390. Let's see what it measures at. Push this in. Lever down. Didn't know I could. I can't sing. 326.5. That's close enough to 330 to me. Let's put it in. Oh. This is a better board than the other one. It was the other kit. The one that I put the electricity in backwards. And I ordered new capacitors for it in case they'd blown. So I changed those. And I ordered a new chip, although the chip should have been okay because it had diode protection inbuilt into the chip. But when I desoldered it, I took the pads off it with it. So the little flashing light doesn't work on that kit. But Bluetooth works perfectly with the speakers. So let's put this one in. These are very small wattage resistors. Absolutely tiny. Bum, 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 bum. I don't know long. On the crest of a wave. Do 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 do. I'm being a bit quiet today. I don't know why. Get that on my hold. I can't even see the hole. There's a hole there, isn't there? Let's try to. I'm not doing too well. It's cold today. Hey, got it. Push it down. Pull it down flush. Wires out. Should we do those four first? Or should I put the two diodes in as well? We'll do the resistors first. No, soldering iron's gone to sleep because I took so long doing that. Crash bang, well up. There's an sonic on the floor. See, this is all real time. There's nothing posed about this soldering video. It's all real. Right, can you see? Okay. Yeah. I've also turned the soldering iron down a tad. I normally solder nice and warm. Turned it down to 380. Let's see if I can zoom in a bit. Okay. Yep, the mouse has gone to sleep. We'll get there. I think that's doing manual focus because the auto focus is rubbish. Alright. This is my soldering. It's nice when the traffic outside decides to honk their horns. Prove he's got one. And here's two here. Solder that. Solder that. More heat on that one. It will look okay. Right, let's put the soldering iron clean at tip and put it to rest for a minute so it can go to sleep. And one day I will use the newer cutters, but for now, into the ashtray. Two diodes. And a little black line to the bottom. And they're both going the same way, which is handy, I suppose. And the other one. This is such a straightforward little kit. It'd be nice if it works. Actually, it'd be quite memorable if it works. Oh, good, it hadn't gone to sleep. Let's see if you can see. There you go. I'm doing this during the day, so the lighting's not as good as it is in the evening. Funny enough, because there's no natural light in this room. It's north facing, and outside is the main road. and a very short front garden, so it's not very private. So I tend to have the blinds down as well. Hence, I take vitamin D supplements. And going back to the wicks thing, of course, the posts, which of course you need to put up a fence, as I said, they sent me 4x4s instead of 3x3s. And they arrived yesterday. And so I phoned up Wicks and said, you've sent 4x4s instead of 3x3s. Go metric. 75mm by 75mm instead of, you've sent me 100 by 100. I ordered 75 by 75. Well, you can't put up an existing fence, which I'm patching, with the wrong size posts. There'd be inches out all the time and gaps. And I can't deliver those until Monday. So I've got a nice bright day. I've got the panels. I've got the cement. I haven't got the posts. I've got the spurs, the concrete spurs. I haven't got the posts. What's the betting that the sunny day that is today, and most probably tomorrow, and was yesterday, will turn into a wet, miserable, cold, damp day. Thank you, Wicks, for your inspiring help. Anyway, right, let's put what it said. It obviously sits under the display. This is always handy. Oh, come on. I've seen people get really annoyed and cut these off. I don't know why, but I collect the little bags. Well, I've got a huge, big plastic bag full of all these little component bags all over the place. And it's a weird... Oh, I won't bother with that one. It's a weird obsession. I've got no idea why I keep them. Because invariably, I might use one every so often. Notch, zonk. Ooh, that wasn't too good, it fell out. Yes, I have blue tack, but I'm not a blue Peter fancier. Right, solder one pin down. Come on, soldering iron, get up to temperature, please. We should have one of those blokes making a clay pot on a wheel for intervals. Which would be fun. They used to do that on a TV. Well, I think it was mainly BBC because they didn't do adverts. And in between programmes they had what they called intermission. And it was a bloke, a potter, turning a pot. And they'd play this music. And you'd watch this bloke make a pot on a wheel. And it was quite good. I mean, he made the same pot all the time. But, nah, it was the good old days. And TV used to go up at 10 o'clock. And if you didn't turn it off, you get a little warning sound. Man would come on and say, now unplug your TV, and so forth. And it was informative and funny. But you don't do that now. And then the little dot would come. The picture would go to a little tiny dot in the centre of the screen. And that was your TV finished for the day. used to have children's programs on between, I think it was 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock of an evening. Specifically, things like Blue Peter and Zoo Time and stuff. And those days are no longer with us. I don't know what they'd put on Blue Peter today. Yeah, that's soldered in. That was quick and easy. This is going together really well, he said, causing 1, 2. So I'll put the edge connector. Trouble with the edge connector, it's only one. It's quite heavy. So we'll look at the batteries. Where did I put the battery hold? Oh, they're in here. Ooh, they are nasty. Cheap and nasty. I've got some quality ones, but they most probably wouldn't fit underneath the display. I might have to turn the heat up a bit on this one. Let's wedge that piece of foam in there to hold it level. Oh, fuck. I've got the chip in there still. That wasn't a good idea, Barney. No, I know. Right, let's see what we get with this small tip on this first. Cool, that went easier than I thought. Holding them, solder on both. It's got that. Well, that went on all right. Let's do the other one. That was quite good and easy. There's the other one. Dee 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 dee. Boom, 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 boom. Yes. When we used to have the milk delivered, you'd have a milkman come round, and the milk would have silver tops, little foil tops. If you could get to it before the birds, especially blue tits and so forth, you could save those silver milk tops and then send them off to Blue Peter and get a blind dog, or a dog for the blind, and that was, it's, people would send in millions of these things, and they'd also do the same with used postage stamps. Not for, well, it might be for blind dogs. I can't remember what they used postage stamps were for, but I did that. You had comics like the Beano and the Dandy. You give a kid a comic today, you throw it away. Oh, an iPod. Yes. Go on the internet and see how not to do things, especially if you watch this channel. The beauty with YouTube though is you can pass forward. YouTube is useful for learning some stuff. Oh, hit the mic, the camera and everything yet again. Right, so that's that. 3 transistors. Just 9013 8550 and 75501. Just to show you my lovely soldering. Look at that. What a dab hand I am. Right. So I was saying that each of these, I've got a capacitor to put in as well. I might put that capacitor in first because it's behind one of the transistors. Right. That should be a 104. It is a 104. Little. Surprised it's not some sort of crystal for the chip. Yeah. Well, let's get rid of that for a minute. And whack some solder on that leg. Whack a bit more. No. Come on. That'll do, he said. That's good enough for Australia. I'll get away with that because I'm not in Australia. Alright. Alright, let's go back to this transistors. Got the magnifying glass back. Let's see if you can see. No, you can't. And to be honest, neither can I. I've got a little bit of a light stuck on there, but I've got to turn the thing on. See if that helps. Ah. 9013. You can't see that. But I can. Yaboo. Something I can do, you can't do. Right, put that in there. And because sod's law is, if I put all 3 in, they'd drop out and then I'll know which one was which again. So I'll solder that one in first. It's going swimmingly, which is worrying because it's unusual for things to be going this well. This might even work. What a kit that would be. What is this one? Jesus. No. Let's see if we can get a bit more light on it. It's 8550. I don't know whether you can't. Can you actually see that on there? I doubt if you can. I'll try. Anyway. 8550. Swabbled it about enough. Right. This is going swimmingly. This is all going in order as well. By that I mean left to right, left to right, left to right. hoping the screen will go on. If not, I might have to lower them a bit, but I don't think it's going to be that close. Of course, thinking was never my strong point. I tend to speak before I think. Thinking before speaking. Nah. What's the point of that? Right. So the last one has to be a 7550-1. I should really look up the data sheet as well, but no. And it is. It's a 7550A-1. Let's turn that little light off now. We don't need that again. Can you actually see that without? I mean, you might be able to see it. No. No, you really don't need to see it there. I've just told you what it is. That's a transistor. Upside down. This is going really well. Something's got to go wrong. Something has got to go wrong. It can't be. Yeah, that's the first thing. This is going swimmingly. Swimmingly well. This could be, if the sound is good, one of my better videos. Of course, if the sound is. That chance. I'll put that chip over there. Push buttons. Wonder why. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wonder what those little holes are for. Well, put all these in. This is exciting, isn't it? My own calculator. Oh, I could rule the world. I just need to change my name to Casio. We weren't allowed calculators at school when I was at school. We had a slide rule and log tables that we were allowed to use in exams and things. I think part of that was calculators were quite expensive at that time, and although it was quite a well-to-do school, not everybody's parents were rich enough to say, oh, we'll buy the kid a calculator. It's not like nowadays where parents go out and buy their child a computer to take to school, a laptop, an iPad, anything for keep Apple's bank balance going. And you had to read books as well and look things up in books. You couldn't just Google it. Oh dear, I'm beginning to sound biased against young people, and I'm not. You all have to do what. Look at that, bent pin. You all have to do what you can at the time that you can. I used to like reading. I used to have all the books as well. I don't know where they've gone. Biggles with his mate Ginger. I was never quite sure about Ginger. Like all these buttons. I might. Well, I put the last one in and turn it over half and pull out. Oh, look, another one with bent pins. That's most annoying. Do you like the way I said that? Right. Here we go. You can't bolt kids nowadays either. Policemen used to be quite terrifying when you was a young lad scramping. And they'd threaten you with all sorts. The worst threat they could do was say, "I'll tell your dad. I'll take you home." And of course, if a policeman brought you home, your parents would go bloody ballistic, generally. Don't tell me I'm one button short. No, two of them have got into a grapple. Obviously, quite liked each other and were hugging each other goodbye. I'll put them next to each other because they've obviously bonded, as buttons do. Up buttons, gender neutral. Right. I have to be careful because I'm quite a non-woke person, which is almost like being a pacifist in the war. You're not liked. Look at the pins on this. These are nice buttons though. They're clicky, clicky. Because they're bent. Not quite going in that one. I'll give that one a little tweak. Hang over the edge. Right. I'm going to have a quick 5-second puff. This is going so well. Too well. It's quite frightening. Right, let's get the soldering iron. I've gone to sleep. Wakey, wakey. Wakey, wakey, wakey. Have to. It's not there yet. We used to have apprenticeships. 5-year apprenticeships. Of course, you could be indentured apprentice or just an apprentice. But you had 5 years training and also day release, generally, if you was doing a technical trade, to learn something. Nowadays, it seems you can be an apprentice as an office cleaner. It's used to just be the trades that had apprentices. And of course, you've got Anne and Sugar that does things. They're not really apprentices, they're just people learning a job. And people will say, "Oh yeah, but that's all an apprentice did." You didn't. You learned the tricks of the trade as well. How to do this, how to do that as an apprentice. How to do it properly. It was before health and safety, but you also learned how to be safe. Which was important. When he was working on live stuff and just standing on a table in Wellingtons and wearing a pair of rubber gloves. When I say live stuff, I mean 3-phase buzz bars and so forth, and clamping cables onto it. It was fun when you dropped the spanner. Sparks would fly and you'd have chunks missing out the spanner as it went bing bang wing down the buzz bars. MEM buzz bars we used to use most of the time. I used to travel all over. Used to be called a journeyman electrician in them days. They all sitting flat, they all look flat. So you don't think what I'm looking at, I'm just checking they're all flat. All lined up. And I'll go for it. Alright. Another quick puff. Clean the tip. No, it's gone out. I can't be bothered to light it. Right. Yes. Used to travel. We used to get paid a nightly allowance of £1.50 when I first started travelling. That was your accommodation. And funny enough, in them days, 50p would get you bed and breakfast. And steak was cheap. We used to eat out generally. I would pay the landlady a few more bob. And it was good fun. You really got to know the blokes you work with when you sleep with them. Not sleep with them, but in the same room. Because invariably there'd be 4 of us in a room, each in our own bed. The first job I had, I think, working away was as an apprentice was, I think it was at the Swan's Nest Hotel. And we used to have races on the River Avon, and we'd hire a boat and paddle down to a little island, around the island and back again for 20 quid or so. We made a lot of money at those days, mainly because we were stripping out the old beautiful copper and installing MICC for the mains. We'd run a spur up to outside the room and put 2 spurs there. One would do the lighting, the other one would do the socket, so that each room could be isolated simply from the spur when they wanted to redo the room layout. It's quite nice. Did that, did Kendal, Keswick. There was an old railway station that had been converted into a hotel. Did that. And one by the Lake Windermere. Being the apprentice, I used to get, what was it called? I can't remember what the name of the hotel was. Bloody big hotel. And being the apprentice, I used to have to go underneath the floor and pull in these cables. And in this particular hotel, there was quite a lot of floor space. The walls were about 3 foot thick slate, but there was huge rat traps under there. You had to be careful initially, checking that there was no traps. I didn't worry about the rats. It was the traps I was bothered about. And while I was under there pulling these cables, I could hear this roaring noise. Then all of a sudden I was dust. I couldn't see. Panic set in a little bit. I have to admit, I wasn't that brave. But what it was, some bugward coming out in a bloody helicopter and landed outside the hotel in the grounds. And of course, I'm under the floorboards, and any good builder will tell you have airflow down there with air bricks. So the downwash of his helicopter had blown down through the air bricks, which wasn't, it was more of an air grill, if I remember rightly. And of course, all the bloody dust was shooting all through underneath the floor where I happened to be. That's all good fun. I wish I could know. It wasn't the Wyndham there, was it? It was the lake. It could have been the Wyndham there. Bowness, that was the hotel. Bowness. I loved working up there. I work up there all year round for doing this hotel and things. So we got to know all the locals and the hole in the wall pub, which we used to get afters in back then. Right, well that seems to be all of that. I'll give it a clean in a minute. It's not all that dirty, to be honest, a little bit there. Yeah. But, that's all the push buttons on. Yeah, I haven't put the chip in yet. Let's have a look at this display and see if we can figure out how it's supposed to. There's 1, 2, 3. A couple of those might be for mounting the display. I'm sure it would have to have some sort of support. Maybe not. It's quite heavy. Maybe it plugs in after. Let's get a pair of scissors. I've got a Stanley knife somewhere at hand, but everybody seems to use something weird to open packets and envelopes. I mean, I never understand that. I've got an envelope knife, if you like, which so that will sit on there. So that's going to be interesting. Right, okay. Now then, well, smash any more of this chip up. Let's see. I did that. I can say that I did that. I bent those pins, I think, when I was, I don't, maybe it's a bad idea to stuff them into that. What do you do? Oh, tiny Pico. Let's move the tiny Pico out the way. Put that. Oh, eat you, Winnie Gill. Oh, that wasn't good. See, you have these ideas, and all of a sudden, what the right happens to me? Right, I'm going to solder one, and we'll go from there. Did you see that? Pin pushed through the socket. 1, 2, 3. So I'm waiting for it to come up to temperature. Forgot what I was talking about. Wasn't all that interesting. Yeah. Look at that. Whoa. You got that straight, Barney. Oh. It's getting straighter. What do you think? That's a nasty connector. I have to tell you that because it ain't very good. Oh, see? I think that's good enough for Australia. Let's pin that one. That'll be alright. See, everything was going swimmingly, and this will be the one that does it in. I'm going to touch all these up again in a minute. Just going to get some solder on there, because it's not running. No, that's not going to be any good. Not even a budging. Right, start again. Yeah, see, it starts to go wrong already. Trouble is, I'm doing this with my own eyes. Normally I do this under a magnifying glass. I've got one of those magnifying glass things that straps your head, and you can sort of bung in different magnification things of it. Come as separate lenses. I've never used it. I bought it and I put it in a box in a drawer, and I've never used it. Is that a good thing? I don't know. Does anybody else find them useful? I much prefer the just a handheld magnifying glass, or solder wick. That's not coming off easy. That's it. Boom. They're all soldered. Yes. Leaning over at none. It will go in. I'll force it in. Right. Here's a little Pico. This is great. I've got those little buttons already made up on a tiny little PCB, and they're soldered along there. It's great. Anyway, put that back on there. However it was, I can't remember now. I just want to put it away. That'll do. That's too far forward. That's because it will never work again. I was only doing a blank sketch. Anyway, I've got into a lot of Raspberry Pi stuff. When I say I got into a lot, I've bought a lot of Raspberry Pis. They're not quite the flavour I thought they were. I'll tell you what, I haven't used this in ages, in anger. And if I can find it. So, yeah, there we go. All these tools. Oh, I got chip hook, IC remover, better one. What's that say? Terminal. See? That's an inserter. And there's the extractor. There we go. A lot of money for a pin straightener. Right, enough of that, showing bits of tools that I've wasted my money on. Not wasted, but never actually used. So, and it's supposed to straighten the pins. I think I'll have to say that it's a statement that's not quite true, because you just got to look at the pins down there. Hang on, the snoot wants to go out. I'll just see if I can get this mouse to go again. It's a bit like my soldering iron. It's a mouse that goes to sleep.